streaming. We stream. He's streaming. He's streaming. We streaming. And welcome back to a Form Reviews session, second one of the month. Let me get all set up here. Welcome to Form Review session, second of the month. Happy beginning of, oh yeah, what are you guys doing watching this? No one's watching it yet, I'm sure, obviously. Is what not what it looks like? Oh, you're saying at the top left. Yeah, it doesn't look like that.
Okay. That's the first time I've seen it do that.
Yeah, it is not. That's I can't even, I'm not gonna be able to explain. Yeah, cool, yep, and we're good. And that's true. The colors are very vibrant, let's put it that way. Is anyone here that is getting their form reviewed today? We've got Jon F, Flippy Phil, ran this. I don't know, ran this? Guido Fubini, Danger Pawn. Guido Fubini. Disc Jockey, Cam Hoff, Frank Fred, David Votto, DG3, Lad Squire, and Japers. Oh, I need to change this. No, I don't. No, we good. If any of you guys are here, let me know. For those of you guys who are tuning in, watching this later, because I'm sure you're not watching this right now, these are our monthly form reviews, $15 a month to get one form reviewed. We also have other tiers of coaching, one-on-one personal coaching with Josh. We've got daily form reviews. We've got 3 coaches who offer daily form reviews. So it goes from $50 a month to $100 a month, depending on who you choose. Josh and I are both at 100. Cam is at 50. And you can get your form review daily, which is kind of a game changer for a lot of people, especially those who actually use the benefits of sending in a daily form review. If you're trying to get a lot of quick work done, check it out. Tips or drills on getting back into form after not playing in the off season? It's a good question. Stoneback, I really like it. Tips or drills on getting back? If you're getting back into form after not playing in the off season, I would recommend getting a coach. That is what I'd recommend, because I don't know what tips or drills to give you. I don't know what your problems are. You asked that question, I'm like, I can't generically give out drills and tips. Like just to get back into form. I mean, getting back into form is just playing disc golf, and then finding what you need to work on is you start making mistakes and you get a coach. That's how that process works. So that didn't come across as snarky, did it? Yeah, my bad, guys. It's like not trying to be savage. I'm just your savage guy. I'm pretty savage. Okay, I mean, it looks like we ain't got nobody here, thank goodness. So I can just kind of chill and get going. Let's start with the top. We'll start with Jon F. Jon never fix your form. That was horrible. Okay. I'm just going to go off of pure, instinct. Coach instinct today. First thing that pops up in my head. I'm joking. All right, we'll start the easy thing here. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. Wait, where are you throwing, though? Are you throwing this way? No, you are not. You're throwing this way. Okay, and that is important. All right, brother, this step right here. It's too backwards. way too backwards. What you should try and do is actually keep your hips facing towards me, the way that you can either think about it as both of your hips facing towards me through the X step, or instead of your back foot pointing backwards, you keep it, is the word parallel to the other foot, in line with your other foot. And even your other foot is kind of backwards here, so that should not be the case. So it looks good here. There we go. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, so here, when you land with your other foot after the X step, all right, you're going through your X step here, this foot should be facing the same direction here. And you might have too big of an X step. So that could be an issue. But even with this amount of an X step, if you tell yourself to, and I've worked through this personally myself, whoa, double up. I like to think about this foot like pointing forward, basically. And that gets me to the point where the foot is, Dakota, is it parallel?
Yeah.
Parallel. So you're here and here. Yeah, you're perpendicular. Get decked. You're perpendicular. Let me just show you practically what that looks like from a behind view. All right, through your X step. I'm not going to waste too much time. So you're here, this foot's in a good position. And then again, as you go through your X step and you think about your hips, where they're pointing, I'm trying to keep my hips pointing this direction. So I'm going to go here. So I may even tell myself, because what's going to happen if I go full speed, I'm going to tend to not do it. But you see how when I get through this X step, I'm here. That's where my foot is pointing. So perpendicular to the target, would that be correct?
Yeah.
And then there I am. It's more of like a, think about it as like sidestepping. People get really messed up with their footwork. I'm also going to back this up a little bit, because I want people to see the whole thing. All right, so people don't think about the walk up the right way. You should be thinking about it as sidestepping towards your target. And that's basically it, side steps. It's going to be much easier for you to stop your body's momentum. And by the time you get turned, you're going to get that little bit of stagger at the end. But you're kind of forcing some stagger. But fix up that X step, fix up that I'm going to move some things around here. Fix up this step right here. Make it more sideways, not backwards. And that's it for you, Jon F. Easy enough. Difficult to fix, but an easy concept. Not too complicated. Man, my face is bright. I got man, my face is white. I'm like a human reflecting. What do you call those? Yes, I'm a human reflector. What do you call those things? The reflectings. All right. Oh, Cam Hoff, let's get it. David Votto. Okay, Cam Hoff here. I need to leave in 15. Bro, you're not. You know what? I'll get to you in 15, but I'm gonna do my boy David first. You can't be jumping the line like that, bro. That's crazy. You're gonna put that out there. You know what I'm saying? If someone walks into Starbucks, holy. Okay, I mean, I guess I must be kind of fixated on footwork today. It's tough. You kind of either work on the lower body or upper body. I'm going to focus on your upper body here because kind of similar to the last guy. So you've got this massive stagger here for no reason. You're not thinking about it as sidestepping towards your target. You're kind of forcing some things here. You got this nice foot position here. You get a little bit backwards with this foot here. And then you're kind of moving your foot in the right direction. And all of a sudden, you're just like, forget that. I'm going way this way. And now you have this kind of what I'll call, well, of course, this would be a man-made stagger. You're forcing the issue here, forcing the stagger. What you should do is just think about every step as moving towards the target, keeping the foot facing this way, both feet. And what will happen is you will have a slight amount of stagger by the time you get to the final plant, but you should tell yourself sidestep. You know, I always use AB as a comparison here. His feet get kind of backwards. I'm gonna see what Albert does. Yeah, I feel like he's got it, dude. That's it right there. What have I been doing not using Albert as my example? Okay. Look at that. Look at that. You're so much more staggered than Albert Tam is, right? On a max distance throw. I mean, he's almost basically linear towards the target. Here's another example. Oh, there he went. Who am I doing? David. So AB, his feet get backwards, but he stays in line going towards the target. So even though his feet are facing where I would say they shouldn't be for most people, look at how linear he is to the target as he moves towards it. So this is his line. He starts here. He's moving this way. Look how he just stays on that line. Meanwhile, and this is a lot of people, not just you. This is myself included, because somebody somewhere said, you gotta stagger. It's gotta be like, it's probably Simon. I think it was. And so Simon got everyone doing this. It's classic Simon Says. But like, top throwers aren't doing it. So why are we saying that that's what be happening? All right, move towards your target. That last little bit where you're at peak reach back, there's a slight amount of stagger that happens. So let me just drive that home. What do you see in my upper body? No, sir. Nice try. He said, thanks. Let's go on to upper body. You're going to focus on this because this is a difficult thing. One thing at a time. Never will I ever give you, hopefully, more than one thing to work on at a time, because that's going to be enough to last you a while. So again, when you're taking your steps, it just needs to be, practice just like, you can even crow hop. Oh, that was a horrible crow hawk. Crow hawk. Right? We're all used to this motion. Well, I say all. Like in sports, you ever do like side shuffles? It's basically the same thing, you're just kind of crossing. Right? That's it. Make sure your feet stay this way in relation to your target, which is, for me, this light in front of me. Light's there, I'm moving towards it. Easy enough. That's going to help a lot with bracing, by the way. Right now, you can brace from this position, but you're telling your body that you want to throw this way when you line up that way, whereas you need to be throwing this direction. Seriously, this amount of stagger is just so much less. Think about it more linear. Next, cam hop. You're welcome, David. So I am going to get rid of you. I'm so sorry. Get absolutely deleted. Cam, thankfully, I've already looked at yours. I'm sorry for busting y'all's eardrums, because there are multiple. And I already know what I want you to work on. Simply try to keep your back foot on the ground instead of sliding it forward. Case in point, and this is another common misconception with pros form. It's like, oh, that back leg slides for. It's like, I don't know where that came from, but I got into the habit of doing it, and you just don't see the pros actually do. I mean, I say you don't see the pros. I'm sure there are pros, but not the pros that I reference for form. You just don't see them doing that, all right? All right, I know you're thinking about it. You're thinking, all right, here it comes. AB's throwing. Let's see that leg slide forward. Big old mash drive. Where it's sliding forward, right? No, it's not. Look at that. Look how he's keeping it. He's trying to keep it in almost that same spot. It's only moved like this much. Look at that. He's still trying to keep it back. Back, 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 back. Whereas you're like, screw it. I'm flinging it to the other side of my body. Now, why do this? I don't know every reason, but the reason that I would work on this is the idea that, yeah, I had been doing that previously. It looked like it didn't stick for sure. Oh, gotcha. So you've worked on this before? Well, there you go. Let me tell you, like, the thing that really helped me is when Josh pointed out in my form, and he said, try to keep your back foot on the ground the whole time. And he said, you're not going to be able to do it. So he was correct. You're not, once that weight shift happens, you're not going to be able to actually do it. But if your thought is to keep it on the ground, you will get very close to what AB does here. All right, and that's it. And you got a lot of good stuff happening, obviously. You know how to throw far. But from a balance perspective, trying to keep this A-frame as you propel the hand forward instead of leaking. Look how much your upper body still moves quite a bit. You go from here, and then your upper body leaks forward because you got all that momentum being carried from your lower body. And so you're you're doing a good job of keeping this leg out in front of you to stop your momentum, but it's still, a lot of it's leaking through the upper body, and that's not being helped with that back foot sliding forward. That's it. I don't really need to say much else. Top speed is 71.6, dude. I'm jealous because I've lost some speed. No, I'm proud of you, bro. You've been putting in crazy work, and you have not stopped the grind. Been grinding high elbow because it's what is keeping me at 70 miles an hour or higher. I feel that. Look at that. You really did fix that big time. This position's great. I mean, shoot. You really been grinding. That's awesome, bro. We might even be able to do frame for frame here. Oh, this is cool. I'm liking it. Okay, the frame rates are slightly different. Upper body's looking clean, dude. Let me go to like release point 2. Wow. Nice. Yeah, get that foot on the ground. We can use your form. All right, Cam. Have a good one. Catch you maybe in the next one. You're not too far off from being sent away from form reviews forever. What I could do, like for form reviews, is just give you some speed work tips, and that's about it. Once you get the form right, it's like I can do a form review of not actually your form. Just take some time and tell you some of the cues I use to throw faster. I'm sure you've got your own that have helped. Peace. See you, Cam. All right, get deleted. Get out of here. Flippy. Oh, is anyone else here? DG3, my boy. Let's see what we got here. Today might be the day. Oh, footwork's looking decent, actually. I say decent because it started good, because that's good there. He's even got a line down on the ground. I bet that was what he was told to work on last. Whoa. Okay. I'm going to say footwork's kind of at an acceptable point. It's not there yet, but your biggest issue is upper body. So it probably was lower body. Now your biggest issue is upper body. And your biggest issue is this. You're in your backswing. It's not really a terrible, you've got, I'd say decent coil. Your biggest issue is the very first thing that you send when you throw. You say, okay, I'm in my backswing. All right, I'm getting ready to chuck it. Here we go. And the first thing you do is you start rotating, arm lagging behind, shoulders forward, the disc ejects. Now, the issue with that is your shoulders are slower than you can move your arm. You can move your arm faster than your shoulders move. But the issue is if you start with your shoulders, then your arm's not going to be able to catch up. It's just not a very strong position to be in. The fastest way I can move my arm is in this position, not this position. So simply, you need to feel like the very first thing to fire is not your shoulders, but your hand or your elbow or this motion here. But look, I mean, your shoulders are facing me. By this point, you should be in the infamous power pocket, right? Because your shoulders are pointing towards me. For comparison, this is what it would look like for a pro. By the time AB's shoulders point towards the camera, he's here. Now, the reason you're not there is your hand, your elbow, this motion lost the race to your shoulders. It's a race. And by the time you tell your body to throw, and you hear the gunshot, boom, start the race, that hand needs to be the first thing that goes, not your shoulders. All right? Now, how do we work on this? How do we implement this? It's a good question. You can do it in a lot of different ways, but the biggest issue you have right now is you're using hardly any arm. So what you could do, just focus on standstill and don't move, get into your backswing and feel like you're not moving your shoulders at all. See that? Very simply, you just only move your arm. This gets you accustomed to moving your arm, right arm, instead of your shoulders. All right? This is not final form. This isn't what it's going to look like at the very end when you're done working on form. This is just a piece to the puzzle of you got to get this first. Right? You got to feel it. Notice my shoulders are still moving a little bit. I'm not like completely isolating them. They only move just a little bit to what's comfortable for my arm to move. All right? You start with standstill, you isolate it. From there, You work it into a run-up. Just make sure you really over-exaggerate just moving your arm. It's going to feel like your shoulders are almost frozen in place. How about that weird disc angle? Got it on the arm drill isolation. Yep, line for side step. Let me just, yep, line for side step. Elbow first. How about the weird disc angle? I just don't worry about that right now. I mean, that is an issue, but you can't look at everything at once. Fix the arm. I mean, part of it is you just have a very active upper body instead of staying in place and throwing your arm forward. But we can address that. I'm sure if your arm looked better here, that would have been one of the other things I touched on. But you're not going to be able to fix both at the same time, so don't worry about it. Also, like, really good tip is stop posting your form everywhere. I don't know if you're doing this or not. You're obviously aware of, like, your arm angle here. I don't know. You probably heard that from another coach or another person looking at your form. Stick with a coach. Get the one tip from them and work on it. Get it to completion where you feel really good, like you have it down, and then trust your coach to take you from point A to point B along the journey. So it can be so frustrating if you get multiple cues, multiple tips. If I told you everything that was wrong with your form right now, you'd be so overwhelmed and you wouldn't change anything. So tip for everyone, it's not just you, it's probably everyone that does form reviews. My boy, he said, only posting it here, you're my guy. Let's go. Well, good. So you're on the right track. There's a ton of people who are not, and I know are posting their form all over the place. So, pro tip for you guys who are trying to get better. And you know what? If my tips aren't working for you, and you've given it a good, couple months, 3 months, 4 months, half a year, and you're like, it's just not working, find another coach that works better for you. And like, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all, because there are people that communicate differently, and every coach has their strengths and their weaknesses. For instance, my biggest weakness as a coach is I feel like I can't coach mental game, or specifically shot selection. I had a student ask about that the other day, and I was like, sorry, that is not my expertise. My expertise, I feel like if I have an expertise, it's form. So I sent him to Josh. I was like, you're going to have a little 30-minute powwow with Josh, and he's going to talk to you about shot selection. And that's a great place to be, where you have people in your sphere where you're like, well, they're really good at this, so I'm going to send them to this person for this issue. Who's next? Danger Pone. And no, I'm not going to call you what Josh calls you. All right? I won't do it. I did earlier, but I won't do it again. He says Danger Pawn. He's like, is this guy a chess player? Oh, you said Danger Pawn? Oh, it's Woo! Interesting. Okay. Danger Pone, what was the last thing you worked on? LOL's my guy. We could go several directions here. Quite frankly, I think the first issue is you need more stretchy pants. Because, man, these things are really limiting your mobility. That goes, I've had a couple students where, like, they're in jeans after work, and I'm like, brother, your first issue is you got to get, like, some athletic pants. Yeah. Try Fabletics. Not gonna lie, that's what I wear. That stuff's stretchy as heck. So here's why that comes into play. Actually, it's like a legitimate issue. Is your stance is just so It's like for your height, your foot on plant should be like, or your leg on plant should be way out here, and your back leg should be like here. You could have, you might be like me and have hip mobility issues. I totally get that. But what also helps is if you get set up in the right position here. So your feet are actually in a decent position. You're a little too staggered. You should be more of like sidestepping towards your target. And if possible, you really need to think about sticking your foot farther out in front and stopping all this momentum. And it's not that much. I say all this momentum. It's a small amount of momentum you're bringing in here, and you're still right over top this foot. I mean, just super over it. You get to the point where your head is now past your foot. Your goal should be to keep your head, body, everything behind that foot. All right, so this would be kind of the position I'm looking for, where your head is the yellow circle, your feet are these blue circles. That's the position that we're going to try to get to. So, how to make this happen? If I'm doing small steps and leaning forward, I'm going to get into the same position you get into. So what I would want to do, let's say you don't even put your foot far enough ahead of you. Let's say your stance is this tight. Well, then try to just stay center balanced, head between the legs. All right, so by the time I throw, see how I finish my head between my legs? I don't have to. What happens is people do this because to them it feels more powerful to kind of like lean in and throw. Like you're leaning into the target, towards the target. You should feel actually like your body is leaning kind of away from the target as you plant, like this. For someone like you, some people, they actually do lean too far back. It's not usual. I don't see it very often, but your correction should be to like overcorrect right now, where you tell yourself, okay, instead of leaning forward and going over, I should lean back and feel like I'm falling backwards. And think about really stiffening this leg, this plant foot, pushing back this direction. And that's it for you. Don't want to overcomplicate it. Just know that if you sidestep toward your target, it makes that a lot easier as well than if you're too staggered. I don't think you are too staggered. I think it would be more accentuated if your leg was further out in front, but that's about it. Any questions? My brace being squishy and not firm. Under Armour golf pants, fairly stretchy, surprisingly. You might just have bad hips, or you're just not taking a big enough step, or like a far enough in front step. And again, you can fix it even with your current stance by not leaning. Look how you're immediately moving this upper body forward and you're getting on top of that foot. So try to stay centered. I mean, this is about as lean as you can get. You got your A-frame, but it's like here. So you need to be lean. You're very lean forward. Try to stay grounded, on the ground, balanced, head in the center. But get deleted, catch in the next one. I like it. Hey, Mikey, he likes it. Oh, I see what you're doing. Old school. Is that the Life commercials? Hey, Mikey, he likes it. It's like an old school Life commercial. This guy, how old were you? Why do I know about that? Like my parents talked to me about it. That's why my My parents introduced it to me. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have known. Dakota's looking it up. I think it's Life cereal. Mikey something. Yeah, he said Life. He said 89 kid here. Dang. Okay, we're not too far off. I'm 94. So.
Oh.
Guido Flippy. Just literally the most fun name. I hope this is your real name. Looks good, looks bad. Wait a second. Okay, let me figure out your line here. Is this your line? Let's see, where does the disc? No, that's your line. Okay, so let's walk it back. This is your line here as far as where you're throwing. So if that's your line, if you're throwing the direction that the phone, it's like the way that I'm pointing and again, where the disc is actually going, then you've got a jacked up walk up. You've got some good stuff in your walk up, but AI tools. Interesting. We'll let it happen. Okay, so you're starting, let's say if that's a T-pad for you, you're starting like way on the right of the T-pad. Was working on keeping shoulders up the first 2 steps since last time. Okay, cool. That's good. Looking better. On to another problem you have, which is footwork. So you're kind of starting right to left. So if I'm trying to throw this direction, which, can they see me? Okay, if I'm trying to throw this direction, then I want to line up. I'm going to go to where my release is going to be, and I'm going to walk it back down that same line. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make every single step go towards my target. I don't want to go right to left. I don't want to force a stagger. I want it to feel like I'm going towards a target, towards a target, towards a target, towards a target. All right, and I'm going to get a little bit of stagger. Right, this is a small amount of stagger. I'm not going to go towards the target, away from the target. Because now my body wants to throw it this direction, not that direction. It's kind of as simple as that, huh? So again, if you're throwing this way, then you line up on that line. And you're going to try to stay as best as you can on that line. Now, you're already doing this. I don't want to mess you up because you're already doing this right. Like your X step actually looks pretty good. If you were just to have the X step on your line, then that would work. And then this last step here, this is the one where it looks like you're just like really getting turned away. Like your feet go from looking good to turning and looking bad. So just think of it as a side step towards your target. Here, side step towards your target line. Guido. That's it. That's all I got for you. So next time, it actually might be beneficial if you send your form. Yeah, question? Do question me. What is thy question? Next time you send in your form, maybe make it on a T-pad and make from behind, actually. If you send it from behind on a T-pad, is the reason for that I rotate back early? Is the reason for it that you rotate back early? You know, it is not the main reason, but it's definitely not helping. You want to start your rotation not here during the X step. You want to start your rotation as you start picking up this foot and start moving it forward. So the rotation should start probably now as your front foot goes into its final step. So yes, seems to me like you also know your form pretty well. Because this looks good. This right here is good. This needs to be facing towards the camera, actually. And that's also leading to the fact that you're getting rotated too early. Fair play. But yeah, if you just think about every step like sidestepping towards the target, that will be very helpful. You probably wouldn't get rotated back if your foot was facing towards the camera here, because your hips move, and because your hips move, your shoulders move, and it's all moving together. Yeah, keep this foot facing towards the camera. Look at that. It was just the same issue as everyone else. Oh, bro, this is like one of the most common things. I mean, it could be, you know, I say that. I know Josh has had live streams of this exact same issue. The whole time it's this.
It's interesting. Because other times it'll be like the same issue, upper body.
Joe! He was one of my dailies. He tore his bicep. That happened like a while ago, though.
Remember? Tore biceps.
Oh, dude, I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah, I've seen too many videos of it happening.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Between that and like arm wrestling videos where people's arms get snapped in half.
My big one is watching like football and watching Achilles.
Oh, see, I'm more okay with that than a bicep going, bro.
Yeah, like, bicep like sucks, but you can like function like a semi-normal human. That Achilles pop, you can't like. If I tore my Achilles, I can't get to my house. I'm stuck forever. I can never go back home.
Yeah, legs are tough. You know, you just have to crawl at that point, I guess. Yeah, don't ever look up arm wrestling videos. Oh, dude, you're not funny anymore either? That's tough. He lost his humor arm wrestling? That's tough, bro. Wow.
What are you doing?
I don't know, dude. This guy had some. Yeah, he does. He's got almost as many hobbies as I do. If I listed out all my hobbies right now, bro, it would probably be like 15, which I feel like is a lot. Okay, next. I'm wrapping up one of my hobbies, but I'm still getting like sealed stuff for Pokemon. All right, Flippy Phil, which, by the way, does that mean you can do a backflip if your name's Flippy Phil? Or do you just throw really flippy stuff? This guy's been around forever. Hold up. Whoa. Wow, he's working on distance stuff right here. It's like max distance stuff. It's wild that he's kind of doing it, bro. He's kind of doing it. He's done it. He's already turned back before. Yeah, it's this daggum step right here. But it's tough because what happens is this final position here where his feet are here, and for like a max distance throw, I can't blame him because this is kind of a similar position I get into when I throw really far. It is kind of Coley. Yeah, but the thing is we've got this like facade of coil here. Okay. I'm just going to go over it with you. So it's kind of the same issue as these other guys. So this right here, this X step, your hips need to stay facing the camera through the X step. Your shoulders need to stay facing towards the camera during the X step. But as soon as this step lands, boom, you've got hips pointed away from the target, foot backwards, right? I mean, you can tell by how your knee's pointing backwards. So your foot's backwards here. And your foot needs to be facing towards the camera. Knee needs to be facing towards the camera. That might be a better cue for some of you guys, is your knee needs to be facing towards the camera. Let's see, I'm gonna try that and just think about my knee. Knee facing towards the target. Oh yeah. That's good too. I mean, either way, it's the same thing. Foot, knee, whatever it is, you gotta. And then, now you gotta start your coil. Once you pick up this back foot, that's where you're gonna start inching back. All right, don't start your turn here as I'm going through my X step, because now you're early. And you get too staggered. It's kind of wild, man. And honestly, it's hard to tell if you're doing anything bad with your upper body because you're so turned away here. I can't even really get a read on if your coil's any good or not. I mean, it looks good, but also it looks like you're too lean back, but that's because you're not oriented the correct direction. I do know that this looks good. Like if you were throwing this direction, which you're not, you're throwing this direction. But if you would have been in this position and you threw it this way, then that's great form. That's just not the case though. So, looks like you're just like everyone else. No matter how good your form is, you still have the same problem. Yeah, I'd try to get that fixed. Here's what you're going to notice. Here's what I noticed when I made this change. I did not necessarily notice like a huge power difference in this. I will say what I did notice was I threw much easier lines. Like once you start doing this, it's like point and shoot. Like you're aiming your airsoft gun, because you know we're trying to keep this politically correct. You're aiming your airsoft gun, point and shoot. That's basically what it's like. It feels like point and shoot form, and it's still really powerful. Again, the important thing is you're bringing in momentum towards your target, right? If your target's this direction, don't come at it from this side position, whatever you call it, off angle position, because you're going to be stopping that momentum away from your target. So bring your momentum towards the target and have all the stopping power, all the stopping force be like, what's the word you use? Not parallel. Perpendicular to the target, 90 degrees off your target. All right? And that's going to efficiently transfer your lower body momentum into your upper body. Again, you can do this. I do see people do this. I've done it. I've tried to get better about not doing it. And the benefits of accuracy are insane, and you'll get a better understanding of what your upper body's doing in relation to your lower body. Here, it looks like you've got the best coil in the world. It's like, wow, I don't even see any pros again in that position. But if we were to see that position from the camera pointing from over here towards you, well then it would probably just look like your shoulders are in a straight line and you don't have that good of coil. So keep that in mind, because I found that out myself as well. All right, bye Flippy. Anyone else here? Nope. Ran this. Run it. Oh boy. Some good stuff here. Ooh. There's 0 chance. Tell me he's not throwing where I think he's throwing. No, this looks a little better. Deep pocket. Holy deep pocket. Wait a second. How's that even possible? I see. Whoa. You know, it just occurred to me. Wow. This is crazy. I'm going to test this out slow motion earlier. But theoretically, you can have a deep pocket look like this crazy amount of deep pocket, if you just do the elbow behind you cue and run up right to left. And just fake the deep pocket, basically. So he goes really out. So he's out with his form, but his feet are pointing this way. So in relation to his feet, his arm goes way out. And then he just uses the cue of elbow behind. And he gets into a crazy deep pocket, which would not be possible if his footwork was good. So that's what we're gonna talk about then. I was like, surely not someone else with the same issue. So yes, it is unfortunately the case. You're running up right to left, but you're throwing straight down this line, allowing you to fake, or not fake. You have a deep pocket, but you're getting to it in a way that you would not be able to get it to if you had correct footwork, because that's not a position that someone who throws really fast gets into. Pretty wild. I'll have to double check on that with Josh if like that's the reason, but so basically he's doing like a standstill, like let's say I was doing a standstill drill and I was faced like this direction away from the target and I started my throw here, which is basically no coil at all, right? If I was actually coiled, then I would be here, but he is here. So it's a shorter path for him to get into deep pocket. So he's going basically like elbowing behind him from here. So let's turn this thing this direction. And if you were to have proper footwork, you would be throwing the disc that way instead of releasing the disc at 10 o'clock. So this is pretty interesting. All that to say, your issue is the same as everyone else. You need to walk towards your target. You do not walk from right to left. And then, now that's crazy. That was my old form. You're just doing what I used to do. Who? Thomas who? Oh, Hunter Thomas, got it. Yeah. So let's figure out, this is my T-pad. I'm going to line up center of the T-pad, walk it back. And now I'm going to try to make every step. Now I say this, I want each step to go the direction that I'm facing. I don't want it to be all in the same line. So for instance, if I'm going towards my target, I don't want every step to be literally on a line like a balance beam. I just want my momentum to be going towards my target. You almost have like 2 lines. You've got like a line here and a line here. So I'm following one line with my back foot, one line with my front. See that? It's very easy for my back foot to pass. So good distinction there, Mikey. I like it. All right. That's about it. Make sure, easy fix, just line up down your target line instead of going from, let's say this is the target line, instead of going from right to left and throwing this way. You're just going to go down the target line here, and then we'll get to see your true coil. Oh yeah, 2 lanes is like the best video ever.
I'm thinking I'm gonna put that in the. I'm making a little note in the forum. You think like, hey, watch this video.
Dude, yes, 2 lanes is such a good video. Also, the video that Josh does, like this step is killing, like the X step killer.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's such a good one. I've been using this so much. I mean, it's so helpful. Who was this? This was ran this. Yeah, it's crazy. For a second, I was kind of tricked into thinking his form was goated, and I was like, wait a second, it's not. And like, how do you get into that deep of a pocket? And it all makes sense. Like, it's basically like starting from 0 coil and throwing your arm forward as fast as possible. It's like it's so easy for him to get in the deep pocket that way. Because he's cheating. All right, disc jockey is next. A little forehand action. Okay. I think he sent his forehand in last time. It's looking familiar. I wonder if the thing we worked on was footwork, plant. This looks good. Not bad. Yeah, arm is kind of going towards the target. Looks good. Yeah. No. I think that's going to be helpful. Okay. You're not too far off from at least like decent form. One thing you can be doing a little bit better. I mean, honestly, what I'd like to see from you is just a little bit, like this is kind of controlled effort. A little bit more speed in your walk up. Well, I mean, this is obviously like you putting a lot of intentional work in. So this is not going to be like probably the forehand you go and use on the course. But I would love to see your course forehand. A couple things, and I guess this will be helpful if we see Big Germ here. Think about like a lunge, and this is, jeans could not be helping you here. So just keep that in mind. You want some mobility. But look at this position here, just the difference. It's as if Big Germ is going for a massive lunge. Look at this position, body-wise, with his feet. Do you know how much of a stretch that is? I mean, that's kind of the position you want to get into when you're doing lunges. I mean, he's like, I mean, it's basically like that. A big old step. All right? So when you're throwing, make sure you feel like you're lunging and stomping on that front foot. So you're here. Lunge, stomp, brace, and throw. That's difficult for me to do because I don't do that very often. But it's good if you're trying to, you know, bring a little bit more power into your throw. Woo! I like it. You know, that's crazy. I'm glad that I'm doing that right now because, like, I obviously need to work on this too.
You do one that without throwing towards the camera so you can see like the front part of it.
Yeah. I have no idea if this is going to be helpful or not, but I'll show you towards the camera. Oh, facing the camera, but sideways. Facts. Well, it's good because Germ is doing it, so it's here. And that's about it right there. Towards the target. I mean, shoot. It feels like a max lunge for me. So yeah, I'd stomp. Because a lot of forehand power is like bringing in body momentum, stopping that momentum. So stomping. Notice how he goes. Boom. Legs hit. And you can see, look how he's stopping. Once he gets into this position, it's like his knee isn't going anywhere until follow through. Whereas you just don't have, again, you're not bringing a lot of speed into it. We'll focus on that first. So basically, try that. Upper body is going to be the next thing I would work on. Get that back to green. But I'm not going to tell you about that yet. Work on the lower body. Get some stretchy pants or shorts. Suck it up. Wait, it looks cold. Just get stretchy pants. I don't want you to freeze to death. You know, it's not like summer, but something where your mobility is not limited. And you know what? Work on lunges. All right? That seems helpful in this scenario. Maybe we all should be working on lunges. I mean, look at that. One of the top forehand throwers in the world, perhaps the best forehand thrower in the world, which is why we specifically got his form, is to figure this stuff out. Boom shakalaka. And thankfully, this was something I noticed with you enough to where I worked on it and I felt something different today from my forehand. So thank you for having this issue, honestly. Disc jockey, get deleted. Boop. Frank Fred, 87. Frank Fred, 87. Let's see what you got. Another forehand. What are the chances? And what are the chances I'm going to tell you the exact same thing as the last guy? Chances of 100%. Because upper body's not looking bad, dude. Yeah, you just need to fix your lower body. Okay. All right, I will need to have Big Germs throw up here real fast. Should just kept it up. It's starting to heat up in here. Huh. Now that's interesting too. I'm never, no way, bro. This is great. I need more people sending me in forehands. And having issues. So here's something I'm noticing. Obviously, I'm going to focus on the feet here. I'm going to focus on the legs, leg position, just like the last guy, but it doesn't mean that you saw the last guy, so I'm going to treat you as a new person. Big lunge. Right now, your feet are very close together with next to zero lunge. All right? You could be like the majority of people out there, including myself, that lunging is not the easiest thing. So you can work on lunges first off. Just feel what it's like to really get that foot way out in front and have this, separation here. Now, something I noticed here is he keeps his, just like the backhand, just like in the backhand throw, he keeps his head, like his weight, centered, like he's not on his back foot. Look how his weight or his body stays centered between his legs throughout every tick of the throw, and he's He's perfectly centered up here. I just, for some reason, didn't know that translated to forehands until now. I mean, he stays over it just about as long as you'd stay over it for the backhand throw, and his head is drifting forward with his front foot. Whereas when you throw, you've got your weight on the back foot the whole time. See that? And then you transfer forward. So longer step, or feel like you're lunging, big lunge forward, stomp, lunge, stomp, and let that head drift forward with the lunge. All right, here's an example of lunging while not keeping my head forward, and it's going to feel pretty weird. It probably won't, actually. There it is. All right, back foot. That's what it looks like to do it wrong. Here's what it looks like to do it correct. Whoa. This is, it's been a while since I've done forehand stuff. You get the idea. Big Germ does it better, so just watch him. It's like we both kind of need to work on this. All right. That's it for you. Lunge, stomp, lunge, stomp. Keep the head drifting forward. That's what I'll be looking for next time if I see your form. Or you might have to remind me, because I don't remember these things. They just pretty much leave my head. Unless you're one of my daily form review peeps, then I do remember. Next, Lad Squire. Ooh, this guy's got the cinematic widescreen, ultra wide. Yeah. You'll never guess, Dakota. Yeah, artificial stagger in the building. Yeah, this is just tough because if I see this, like, okay, if I'm just looking at his shoulders here, like upper body wise, okay. You know, his coil could be a little bit better, but it's not bad. And then I look at it in relation to his stagger, and it's like, okay, his shoulders are actually like forward here if you're looking at it in relation to his stagger. So, yeah, it's important, and I don't feel bad that I have to tell you guys this is helpful stuff. So, or I shouldn't feel bad that I'm telling you guys all this. All right, common theme of today, Lad Squire, is you're kind of forcing this issue of stagger here. You're kind of a little man-made stagger. And let's see if it's because, no, it's not because of your X step. You're just forcing it forward. Because this looks good. Hips are basically where they need to be. Then you're starting your turn. Okay, well, yeah, you got two issues. Because you start your throw early. Yep. Yep.
You know.
No, it's true. I remember when I would watch Josh, and I was like, yeah, yep. That's how I learned so much from just being on that side of the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's fix this first. You got other stuff to work on, but here's my line. You know what? We have a line. Oh, cool. We got drop-down lines. Say less. Drop-downs are fun. Okay. I mean, you got to drop them, right? They are drop-down lines. Okay, so that's our line. And you know what? May as well have a second line here because this is 2 lanes. Now these I cannot drop because I need to place them kind of perfectly. So right foot on this side of the line. Where's my disc? Right foot is the left side of the line, left foot is the right side of the line. And I've got these 2 lines going towards my target here. And I want to make sure that when I'm stepping towards my target line. All right, so look at the line. This is me. So I'm going to go here, here, here. Notice my stagger is just the amount of stagger that these lines are away from each other. I'm not going here, which is kind of what you're doing. I'm just sidestepping back on that same line. And that's my stagger. And I threw it on the ground. You're pretty close, honestly. You just kind of deviate a little bit. Like your back foot's in a good position, and we would expect that this right foot would be somewhere like here. Watch it be there. No, it is not. Okay, so it would be here, not here. So you're slightly off. It's not a lot. It's enough to throw things off. I will say, I'll just go and tell you your other issue is you're starting your throw early. So your foot's not even planted yet. Now it's, let's see, when is it fully planted? Probably there. By the time your foot is planted, you're already well into your throw. We don't see that with the pros. We see they wait until, or what you could do is a couple things. You can either, like as soon as you feel your toe touch, now you basically do this. You usually need to get on that foot. You feel that foot go, just stand on it and plant hard. Don't kind of like wait, shift, and then push against it. Just that foot hits and you're stopped. That's the first thing. The other thing is you just have to delay. You can either reach back slower, because the timing of your reach back is actually good. Yeah, so maybe just a slower reach back so you don't have to like drag it forward while staying still. But you need to have the know-how or the body awareness of I am at peak reach back by the time my foot is fully planted. And as soon as I feel fully planted reach back, send it. That is one of the hardest things, in my opinion. It's been one of the hardest things for me. And usually if I get that correct, I can go 1, 2, maybe 3 miles an hour faster just from getting that one thing accomplished. So this is the timing piece of full plant before you start your throw. That is such a big thing. So yeah, footwork, plant timing, start on the footwork because that's going to make the plant timing work better. But technically you could work on plant timing now, even with the bad footwork. So, but I would do footwork first, then plant timing. Bye-bye. This guy just looks like a professional. Okay. Okay, here's an example of someone that technically starts right to left, but I actually don't mind it. Looks good. Okay. Yeah. So what I would say is you have really good accurate form. Like if you were going for accuracy hitting a gap right here, gap hitting form, I think you did a pretty good job of it. I would say you did a really good job of it, actually. Kind of keep the disc out. You don't have a full coil here, so I'm kind of looking at your shoulders. Your shoulders are directly facing towards the camera. What we would like to see in a max distance throw, again, this is assuming you want to throw farther and you want to kind of go between forms. What I would do is, and what I do is I do go between forms. It's not completely different. It's just more or less coil of the shoulders. So, and it also just depends on, now this is interesting. We probably should address this first, actually. But I'm curious if, no, we'll start with shoulder coil. Start with shoulder coil. You do have this like elbow dip here. That's definitely noteworthy. The way to fix that, we're talking about arm wrestling today. So the way to fix that is just to maintain this tension of the arm. Could be, are you leaning too much? I don't think you're leaning too much. You just need to keep your elbow out away from your body more. So you're kind of like this as you throw, right? Just nice and kind of relaxed. You need to have a little bit more tension of keeping your elbow away from your body, and also tension of, instead of your hand being kind of comfortably up here, you want to swap. You want your hand to be lower or on plane with your elbow. So here, you notice my elbow's lower. So if I finish the arm wrestle, which is the cue that I use for this, it's very simple. Finish the arm wrestle. Now you're in the correct position. So if you kind of hold that tension and you feel like the whole time you're kind of pushing that hand down and your elbow up, that'll solve that issue. And you know what? I probably should just focus on that with you. And that's it. I'd like to think that I keep it to one, maybe 1.5 things per person, but why don't you just focus on that for now? Your elbow's dipping. It's an issue. Finish the arm wrestle. Make sure that you have the feeling of finishing the arm wrestle at the right time, which is here through the power pocket. So you're trying to keep this disc on the same plane as opposed to starting high, or actually for you it would be just like elbow dips and then you throw. So 2 things that have helped me with that same issue, and I still have the issue, is arm wrestle cue and kind of like hunching forward, like pushing up. I finally learned it. Protracting your shoulders. That's the word. Protractoring. So, and kind of pushing this elbow out by protracting the shoulders. If I just think about like this. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. I don't even know what that's from. That's it. Oh, was that the last guy? All right, everyone. Stop wasting your time watching the stream. Go watch some professional disc golfers. Corey says, I think about elbowing people literally every day. Yeah, it's good. You know, it's therapeutic just to think about it, right? Isn't that therapeutic? I don't know. Potentially. I'm not a psychologist. Maybe that's pretty bad, Corey. Maybe you should stop thinking about elbowing people. You know what? Bad, Corey. Stop it. Final answer. Thank you guys for watching. Remember, we do have coaching that we've got 3 coaches on this channel. You see 2 of us, Josh and I. You don't really see Cam. Cam's the man. He's a great coach, so I've heard. I haven't gotten coaching from him yet. I really should. I should pop in there and just see what he's all about. I know he's got good stuff. Josh and him. Josh knows what's up. I'm just kind of third wheel here. I'd have to third wheel it, but check those tiers out on Patreon. Me personally, I've got a daily form review tier, and I've got a daily form review plus 2 lessons a month tier called Mikey's Elite. Really cool sounding, right? Don't you want to wear like a t-shirt that says that? Me personally, I'd love to. Just Mikey's Elite. Josh also has the same deal. If you watch our channel and you're like, I definitely connect with Josh, his coaching, his style, dude's the man, you should check out his tiers. If you watch a video from me and you're like, wow, I just really connect with Mikey, check out the tiers that I've got to offer. Otherwise, we've got multiple coaches, multiple personalities. You could probably find what you want on our channel. Josh and I are pretty different. Cam is also very different from the two of us. So we've got a good range of personality types. Catch you guys in the next one. Dakota, please wrap us up. Just go ahead and press the end